Today I'm going to talk to you about helpers. Now that's what we call particles, or as they are in Chinese, 助词. So particles, there's a bunch of those in Chinese, and they are, the Chinese name for them is 助词, which means literally help word. And that's why we prefer to say helper instead of particle, because particle, to me, that sounds like some sort of scientific term for a little tiny thing. So it's not very accurate for me. So we're going to say 助词 helper. So the specific helper that we're going to talk about today is 地, or 的, actually, is how it's pronounced when it's a particle, when it's a helper. But you would have seen this character by now. 地 meaning, when it's usually in combination with other characters to form compound words, it carries the meaning of ground or earth. So, for example, check out these words that are very common that you will see this character in. We have 地方, which means place. So that's ground, and 方 is like direction. And then we have 地址. So 地址 means address. Again, that's to do with where you are, the location, and the ground, the earth you're standing on, I suppose. And we have 地图, which means map. So that's earth picture, or ground picture. Makes sense. And 土地, which means a plot of land. So 土 means literally soil. So we have soil and earth, or soil and ground. So that's how you would see this character, I guess most often, or very often you would see it in combination to create compound words like these. It carries the pronunciation of 地 and the meaning of earth or ground. But when it's used as a helper, or 助词, or particle, it has the pronunciation of 的, and it comes after words. Okay, so as usual, instead of listening to me explain everything in a grammatical and boring way, we're just going to look at a few example sentences and you'll click with it immediately. And you probably already started to, because it's actually very common and fairly simple to grasp. Okay, so let's look at this first example sentence, and this is from level 19 of the Mandarin Blueprint Method. 司机慢慢地走了过来. So 司机慢慢地走了过来. So this one's an interesting one. It's kind of a weird one to start off with because it can have a couple of different meanings depending on the context. So because it's a 司机, right? It's a driver. This could be he's literally walking over. Maybe he's got the keys and he's sort of walking slowly over. But 走 can also mean to drive, depending on the context. You know, so if you're in a taxi with a taxi driver, you say 往前走. 往前走, so like keep going, right? Go straight. But actually, he knows that you're talking about driving, right? So yeah, so this can be both. So it doesn't really matter, right? But just letting you know that. 慢慢的. So 慢慢的. So that double, and in Beijing, in the north, they would say 慢慢的, 慢慢的. That's just sort of the style, the accent that they would use. And it's just saying, yes, slowly walking. So to slowly walk over or drive over, depending on the context. Let's have a look at another one. So this one is a bit longer. 这个学生在认真地完成作业. So this 学生, this student, 在认真地 is studiously or seriously finishing homework. 完成作业. So this student is studiously finishing the homework. So 认真, you could say it's just an adjective, right? You could just say this student, 这个学生很认真. This student is very studious, is very serious, hardworking, essentially. So that's another example there. So basically put 的 after an adjective and you turn it into a adverb. Studious or studiously. Okay, now here's the longest one so far. And this is the final example sentence for this particular point. Now my dog and the little female dog can happily play together. Happily would be the adverb that we're using here. So 我的狗和小母狗可以开心的在一起玩了。可以开心的. So you could say 他们很开心. They are happy. That's just the adjective. Or they 开心的 did something. They did something happily. So essentially any adjective you can add the onto this the character and then put it before an action, and you'll be doing that action in the way you described. Okay, and that's it really. I mean, it's pretty darn straightforward. Just try that out and try and notice that as you work through your sentences on the course or your other reading and listening material that you see. Try and notice it a little bit more, and also try using it with a tutor or whatever sort of speaking or writing practice you are doing. Okay guys, so nice and short and sweet grammar point this time. Hey guys, if you like this video and you'd like us to help you reach literacy and fluency in Mandarin Chinese as fast as possible without all the headache of traditional learning methods, just head to mandarinblueprint.com to learn more.